There may yet still be a cheat among the 2024 Formula One grid. This has come to light with the news that the FIA have announced they will be updating and changing the methods through which they inspect all of the team's Formula One cars during parc ferme. Now, this whole issue is regarding a sneaky little device which is believed to be in an unspecified Formula One team's cockpit, and essentially it is maybe potentially a push of a button or a pull of a lever, and then this helps the team to raise the ride height of their Formula One car during the end of qualifying and before the start of a race. Now, before we get into the advantages this particular device could have for a Formula One outfit, I have my suspicions over which team this could be potentially on. But let me know what you think is the team it could be on in the comments down below. Now, where and how exactly is a Formula One team going to be getting an advantage from having the use of such a device? Well, essentially, it's all about the ride height of the Formula One car during qualifying and during the race. And essentially, they will be able to either raise or lower the ride height of their Formula One car as they deem fit. Now, because it's between qualifying and the race, I believe they will be utilizing this special sneaky little tool that they have on the car to raise the ride height for the race conditions. And this is the way in which this device would have an everlasting impact in terms of an advantage for that team. So to quickly explain this, the ride height is super important for a ground effect Formula One car, and the levels at which you need the floor to be at differ dramatically between qualifying trim and race trim. In qualifying trim, you basically want the floor as low to the floor as possible to achieve maximum downforce and load before you enter the threshold of the load being too much in this era. Now, if you were to run that to the optimum level in qualifying, this would have a negative effect on the overall performance of that car in the race. And this is all to do with the dramatic addition of all of the fuel needed for the race trim. So obviously, when you add over 100 kilograms of fuel into the Formula One car, naturally it's a lot heavier, and therefore the car is going to be pushing the floor further towards the ground. And with you having optimized the Formula One car for qualifying, it's far too low from the beginning of the race stint, and it's going to have a penalizing effect. Now, what this device allows the team to do is essentially run the car optimized for qualifying and then to adjust that ride height to minimize the penalty from which they would have been running it in had they not had this device on the car. And so they can basically tune the car for qualifying, raise the ride height with this device, and fine tune it for the race. And this way you're essentially setting the car up in two different states, which is complete cheating without the FIA's knowing it. And while the FIA have released a statement through which they say they do not believe any Formula One team has this device or used it, it is still nonetheless a very interesting thing that they have gone ahead and done. And the proof will be in the so-called pudding at the end of the race. If a particular team's natural and normal performance has dramatically reduced at the end of the Grand Prix, that would be the way in which we know a team actually had such a device on their car. And of course, if they do have it, and with the FIA having updated the methods through which they check the cars in parc ferme, they may then have a dramatic disadvantage when it comes to the race this weekend. And of course, we will only know that when we see the race results. So say, for example, McLaren have a off weekend and they're a long way behind the natural pecking order that we've seen them in since the start of the second half of the season. We could deduce from that they may potentially have had this device on their car and have been utilizing it during parc ferme. And if they haven't, and everyone's performance stays relatively the same in a status quo situation, then we know no Formula One team had it, and the FIA were just covering off a potential loophole in their regulations, and everything just stays as is. So it's going to be really interesting to watch this all pan out over the weekend, and keep an eye on the teams we believe may potentially have been utilising such a system on their Formula One car, and just to see how their weekend goes. Well, that's a quick video and a quick breakdown on everything with regards to this system that the FIA potentially believe a team, or the teams believe one of their rivals may have on their 2024 car. If you've enjoyed this video, do leave a like, comment down below any of your thoughts, and of course if you're new and have enjoyed the content, do hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for all future F1 videos on the channel. Right, I'll catch you all later.